Versioning Build.com API documentation is crucial for maintaining a clear and organized record of changes to the API. To version the API documentation, start by understanding the importance of versioning and its benefits. Versioning allows developers to track changes, ensure backward compatibility, and provide a clear history of updates. First, determine the versioning strategy for the Build.com API. The most common approach is to use a semantic versioning system, where the version number is in the format of major, minor, patch. The major version represents significant changes. The minor version represents new features or enhancements. And the patch version represents bug fixes or minor updates. Next, create a change log to track all changes made to the API. The change log should include the version number, date of release, and a brief description of the changes. This will help developers quickly identify what has changed and when. To version the Build.com API documentation, follow these steps. Update the API documentation to reflect the changes made in the current version. This includes updating endpoint descriptions, request and response formats, and any other relevant information. Use clear and concise language to ensure that the documentation is easy to understand. When updating the documentation, use a consistent formatting style throughout. This will make it easier for developers to navigate and understand the documentation. Use headings, subheadings, and bullet points to break up the content and make it more readable. Once the documentation has been updated, publish the new version and make it available to developers. Use a version control system such as GitHub to manage different versions of the documentation. This will allow developers to access previous versions of the documentation if needed. Best practices for versioning Build.com API documentation include using a consistent versioning strategy, maintaining a change log, and updating the documentation regularly. It is also important to communicate changes to developers and stakeholders, and to provide a clear and concise description of the changes. By following these steps and best practices, you can ensure that the Build.com API documentation is well organized, easy to understand, and provides a clear history of changes. This will help developers to effectively use the API and reduce errors and misunderstandings.